Greetings and splendid afternoon. Delighted to be in your virtual presence. I'm Tuhinuজ্জামান, bearer of the distinguished ID 136, proudly representing Group 5 at the illustrious Department of Banking and Insurance, Rajshahi University. I'm currently enrolled in the course Monetary and Fiscal Policy. Our current chapter focuses on budget deficits, trade deficits, and global capital flows. Today, I'll be shedding light on a crucial concept with this topic, the National Savings Entity. I'm not alone in this journey. My teammates will also be discussing various other aspects of our chapter. So, what exactly is the National Savings Entity? In simple terms, the National Savings Entity is a concept that relates a national savings, investments, budget deficits, and trade deficits. It helps us understand the interconnectedness of these economic factors. Why is this important? You might ask. Well, it provides insights into how a country manages its finances and interacts with the global economy. So let's define these economic terms with simple words. In this equation, we can see national output. So what is national output? National output is like all the things our country makes and does. It's the total amount of goods and services produced within our borders. Private consumption expenditure. Private consumption is the money we spend on things for ourselves, like buying food, clothes, toys, and other stuff that we use in our daily lives. Government spending or government expenditure. What is government expenditure? Government expenditure is the money the government spends on things that help us all. This includes building roads, schools, and hospitals, as well as paying for police and other public services. Exports of goods and services. Exports are like selling things to friends in other countries. It's when we make stuff here and send it to people in other places who want to buy it, right? So, and imports are like buying cool things from your friends in other countries. It's when we bring stuff into our country that others have made and we want to use, right? So in simple words, in simple terms, national output is everything our country produces. Private consumption is what we spend on ourselves. Government's expenditure is what the government spends for everyone. Exports are things we sell to other countries, and imports are things we buy from other countries, right? So let's do another equation. Here we can see, if we define this equation, then here we can see the income that's Thai come from the sale of goods, right? And others, private consumption, C, which is the money you spend on things for yourself and your family, right? It's like buying foods, clothes, and toys, anything you use in your daily life. And private savings are like keeping some of your money for later. When you earn more money than you spend, the extra amount you save is your private savings, right? It's like putting money aside for a rainy day or something special. And net tax revenue. Net tax revenues are the money the government collects from taxes. When you buy things or earn money, a part of it goes to the government taxes, right? So the net tax revenues are what's left after the government takes its shares, right? So now we are going to the next slide. Here we can see, if we just simplify these two equations, then we will finally get the national savings entity, right? So we can see G minus T plus S minus I equals to IMP minus export, which is called EXP. So this equation is like a balancing act in the economy. Let's break it down. Here we can see G minus T, which is called government budget balances, right? If the part is positive, it means the government spends more money than it gets from taxes. We call it a national budget deficit because the government is in the red. S minus I, savings and investment. This part compares what people save to what they invest. If it's positive, it means people are saving more than investing. And last one is import minus export. The difference between import and export, it's called current account balance. This is like the balance sheet for the international trade, especially if it's positive, the country is buying more from other nations than it's selling, creating current account deficit. If it's negative, it's current account surpluses. So now let's simplify the explanation. Especially if the difference of G and T is positive, then it means the government is spending more than it's earning in taxes. We call this a national budget deficit. If G minus T is negative, it means the government is earning more from taxes than it's spending. This is a national budget surplus. And the term import minus export shows the balance of international trade. If it's positive, the country is buying more from the nations, creating a current account deficit. And if it's negative, it's a current account surplus. In simple terms, the account helps us see if the government spending wisely budget deficit or budget balance, and how our country is doing in trade with others, especially current account balances. So now we are going to the next slide. Here we can see, now we will know the three methods of deficit financing. So here we can see the first method is borrowing from domestic and foreign residents, especially. This is like when the government needs extra money. It asks people inside the country and sometimes even people from other countries to lend its sum. It's like the government taking a loan from its own people or friends from different places, right? And the next method is monetization. Monetization is a bit like a last resort. When the government has a lot of debt, money it owns, and is struggling to pay, the central bank might have to do something a bit drastic. It's like the central bank being forced to print more money to help the government pay its debts. But doing this too much can cause other problems, right? So now we'll discuss about the third method, which is called debt repudiation, right? So what is debt repudiation? Debt repudiation is a serious step. It's like saying we can't pay back what we owe. Sorry. When a government does debt repudiation, it means it's not able or willing to pay back the money it borrowed. It's like admitting that the debt is too much to handle. So we know the method of deficit financing. Now we will know two crucial assumptions underlying the NSI in the next slide. So here we can see two crucial assumptions underlying the NSI. Let's break down these crucial assumptions about the NSI, or National Savings Deposit or Identity. Okay, so first of all, deficits are completely bond financed, no monetization. This means when the government spends more money than it collects in taxes, it borrows by selling bonds to convert the gap, right? Picture it like the government taking a loan by selling pieces of paper, bonds, to people who are willing to lend money. There is no magic printing of money. It's all about borrowing through bonds. And another assumption is fiscal and monetary credibility is sound, the safe haven. Imagine the government is like a trustworthy friend. Fiscal credibility means the government is good at managing its money, spending wisely and not overspending. Monetary credibility means the central bank which manages money and interest rate is reliable. Being a safe haven is like saying the government and its money are seen as secure, as dependable, like a safe place for people to trust with their money. So, in simple terms, the assumption suggests that when the government needs more money than it has, it borrows by selling bonds. No magic printing, right? And the government is seen as a reliable and secure place for people to invest their money, right? That's all about my topic. So our next teammates will discuss about the other topics from this chapter. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.